Inverted Man here. I don't understand why people don't believe that I can do magic when I tell them that I can. Now, they ask me to demonstrate that I can do magic, and I show them that I can make my hand glow blue rapidly, flash on and off with these blue colors, yet they insist that there must be some trick to it. Clearly, they haven't read the book that a lot of people agree says that I can do magic, and that those people that happen to agree with that book, also, many of them are experts, and they have studied the book long and hard, and they've dedicated their lives, and they all agree that I can do magic as is written in that book. The book that says I Can Do Magic by Dan Green. Oh, just because I wrote it. Okay, well, I didn't really write it. I had somebody write it for me, a ghostwriter. Well, actually, it was the guy that knew the ghostwriter. It's the guy that supposedly knew the guy that supposedly knew a guy that might have heard it from the ghostwriter. At any rate, the book's pretty authentic as far as I can tell, even though there's been multiple translations of it, and some of them are pretty bad. And there's even one that the experts agree is the worst one, yet people still use it, and it's still published, even though it's like the worst translation available. But oh well. Oh, did I mention I wrote the book in 2 different languages? Or, well, I mean, not me, but I had other people write it. And the things in the book are all confirmed by the book, so you can know that the book is true, and it all says that I can do magic. And I've shown you repeatedly that I can do magic. Why don't you believe that I can do magic? But the followers of my book have realized that the skeptics and the unbelievers out there, the thing is, they want this thing they keep calling proof, and we've offered them proof over and over again. We have shown that I can do this magic where I can make my hand glow blue rapidly. We've shown this over and over again, yet they still continue to insist that that isn't proof, and it's not our job. As it says in the book, our job is just to preach the message of the book. It's not to prove to anyone that I can do magic. I don't care if they don't want to believe. That's their problem. They'll be sorry later, because one day I will use my magic on them, and it will not be good. Because people that don't believe that I can do magic deserve my wrath. Those that do believe that I can do magic will be spared, and I'll give them something nice later on. How much later on? Don't worry about it. It's just later on. Okay, so what the people that follow my book need to start doing is just keep preaching that book. I know it's not going to convince them, and that's not our job. Really, my simply existing and being able to do magic should be obvious to everybody already. I mean, I put it in everybody's mind with my magic, so of course they know I can do it. And if they deny that I can do magic, well, then they're just lying to you and to themselves. And isn't that really sad? It just is. But I don't want to interfere with their freedom to choose. I want them to freely choose to believe that I can do magic. And if they don't, well, again, I'm going to get them eventually. But if they do, then totally reward. Now, it's also important that you believe that I can do magic in a certain special way that I've talked about in that book. And again, it's not really me, it's the people that heard about the person that I was dictating to and maybe might be related to that person somehow, or have heard something from that person that heard the thing from the person. Don't worry about it. It's all perfectly fine. And even though there are critics that say there's contradictions in it, there aren't any contradictions in it. And anyone that says that there is wrong. Okay, sure, you could say, well, it has all these scientific inaccuracies. But that's because you're taking it too literally. It's not meant to be taken literally unless it is. If it is meant to be taken literally, then take it literally. If it's not meant to be taken literally, well, then obviously it's just an analogy. And if there's ever a dispute, well, if the book says one thing and, some human idea says something else, well, then the book is right and the human idea is wrong. Unless we want the human idea to be right, but only if we can find a way to make it seem like the book actually agrees with that human idea. Otherwise, it's just ridiculous. And people say, oh, all these cures to these diseases are coming from medicine. Well, actually, that's me. That's my magic producing the cures for that. And you might say, but there's all these drugs involved. Well, yeah, sure. I guess you could look at it that way if you want to believe what humans with no magic powers tell you. But if you listen to me and the book that my person that obviously heard the person that I maybe had spoken to at one point has said, if you actually read it, then you would see that this is the only way to believe, and not believing that way is just foolish and ignorant. And it even says that people that don't believe are fools in that book. So I mean, come on, how can you argue with that? Okay, I know. Many people are saying that there's some bad stuff in the book. Look, is it my fault that my magic requires a blood sacrifice? That's just how it is. It's just how I came to have these powers. It's not something I can really do anything about. Yeah, I can do anything except change my own nature. I mean, I am all powerful, but I'm not paradoxically all powerful. That wouldn't make sense. I can't make a magic so heavy that I can't lift it. Ridiculous. And for those who say that my magic is coming from evil, well, duh. No, it's not. It's coming from good because I love everyone. It's just I get a little bit irritated when people say bad things about me. That's why in the book it says that if anyone says anything bad about me, that they have to die by being thrown into a volcano. It's really not. But see, later on it's okay because I have somebody come supposedly that may or may not be related to me in the book and say that everything that I did say before, it doesn't really count. But then he also says it does count. So you should probably maybe listen to that guy, even though I've given you no proof that that guy exists at all. But believe me when I say I can do magic. Please consider being a pleasing Patreon like Jacob Santos, Joseph Smith, Hector Defendi, Robert W. Lister, or William McCrae. And I can pronounce your name wrong, blocks. Please, Patreon people, link in the description box.